For everybody else that wants to listen, I've got 10 really good things that I am going to break down for you if they are a fact or myth. Now, there are a lot of different things that go around in the world of strength and conditioning, things that we hear, and I am here to debunk a lot of those myths. Creatine is a steroid and needs to be cycled and is also not safe for young athletes to take. Lifting weights will stunt my kids' growth. What's going on, everybody? My name is Coach Vinny Polillo, and I am excited to bring to you yet another episode from the Students of Strength podcast. Now, we are already on episode 7, and I just want to quickly thank everyone that has been listening, following, sharing, subscribing, just following us on YouTube, checking us out on Spotify. This podcast is always been meant to put focus on the small town that our gym is in, where I was pretty much raised right here in Tracy, California. The goal is to put that focus on the world of strength and conditioning, shine some light on that world, show you interviews and conversations from local coaches, athletes, parents of those athletes, Hall of Fame level coaches, some big time names that will be coming up in upcoming episodes. So I just want to say thank you for sticking with us, for listening, and for just joining in on this crazy ride. So again, I am your host, Vinny Polillo. Everyone calls me Coach Vinny, and I am happy to bring to you episode 7. Now, this episode, I've got my notes for today. This episode is called Fact or Myth. Now, there are a lot of different things that go around in the world of strength and conditioning, things that we hear you shouldn't do, things that you should do, things that are bad for you. And I am here to debunk a lot of those myths. I asked a lot of athletes and parents over the last few months, just some things that they'd like to have more knowledge on, bring more topics, more conversations to, and things that it should be answered. Now, a lot of these things are pretty simple, pretty basic. A lot of them I'm gonna answer from my own personal opinion and experience. If you don't like that, too bad. That's the beauty of opinions. You don't have to listen. You can click and go somewhere else. But for everybody else that wants to listen, I've got 10 really good things that I am going to break down for you if they are a fact or myth. Had to do that for dramatic effect. And I don't have a guest today. I like doing these open formats where you're just gonna see me rambling on. I've got a lot of thoughts in my head, so this is a great episode for me to really touch base. As you can see, I'm all spooky and Halloween themed. I love Halloween. You can see we've got our brand new shirts right now. I wanna give a huge shout out to Forever Fierce and Matt, who just runs an amazing business. And for all my gym owners out there, people that just love fitness-based shirts, I love being able to advertise our business. And these shirts, really, he knocked it out of the park. I mean, come on, a skeleton in a squat rack that is trees in a graveyard. Squatting pumpkins doesn't get much more Halloween than that. Thank you to everybody that's bought these shirts and that has supported us. When you support a small business, you are supporting my family is what you are doing. So thank you. And again, shout out to Forever Fierce. Tag them in this video, please, because they're all over social media. And the world needs to know where you can get really amazing apparel like this. So let's get back to it. Episode 7, fact or myth. My number one thing that I'm gonna start with, creatine is a steroid and needs to be cycled and is also not safe for young athletes to take. That right off the bat is a myth. There is a brand new study that just came out. If I pronounce this last name wrong, sorry. Kreiter et al., that would be Kreider. I'm citing myself right here. This is as early as 2025. And this comes right from the scientific study. Again, Kreiter et al. 2025, creatine is safe with no serious adverse effects in clinical trials for up to 14 years. Now, this is looking at more consistent usage of creatine, and creatine can be taken as early as in the infant stages with babies that are having struggles with growth all the way through childhood, adolescence, adults, seniors. Again, it's misinformation. Again, creatine is literally it's a cheat code. It is a wellness supplement, and there are studies still coming out. Okay, so let's go back to this. Children and teens with higher creatine supplementation can be linked to better growth, muscle mass, and overall body composition. In older adults, higher cognition and reduced risk of depression, liver issues, and heart conditions. There are also shown benefits in numerous conditions like muscular dystrophy and sarcopenia. Can also lower the risks of reproductive issues in females. All of this can be the result of consistent supplementation throughout your lifespan. So moms, dads, you should be taking creatine every single day. 5 grams is really ideal for most people. Children, especially if they are active kids, and I'm talking they go to practice, they have skill lessons, they have all these games, they might be doing a contact sport. You need to have them take creatine. If you don't believe me, it's simple to pull up the research and educate yourself. So again, all of that is a myth. Creatine, it's safe, it's effective, and yes, your children, and even you, mom, dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, you all should be taking it. Boom. Let's move on to number 2. Lifting weights will stunt my kids' growth. Man, is that a myth. There's still to this day, there are no studies that are going to prove that stupid statement. Now, what lifting weights is going to do for your child, it's actually going to help them grow. It can help improve things like bone density, improve their body composition. It's definitely going to build them confidence, and why would you not want that for your children? Again, you're just listening to old, outdated information. Just like you think creatine is bad and that it's a steroid, lifting weights is not going to stunt any child's growth. It's actually going to do the exact opposite. Promote growth, promote confidence, and that is what we need today in our young children and our young athletes. Definitely a myth. Okay. We're going to move on. We're already on number 3. I hope you are paying attention. You do not need to train in season. Man, oh man, is that a myth and terrible advice from whoever you got it from. Now, I'm reading right from my own notes so I don't miss anything on this. High-level collegiate and professional athletes are training year-round. If you don't believe that, you've probably never ever spent any time outside of what you're doing in middle school and high school. So many kids are obsessed with chasing down collegiate dreams, D1 this, D1 that. I don't even think those kids are watching Division I sports or actually know what Division I strength and conditioning looks like. We're talking about multi-million-dollar weight rooms, and colleges today are not wasting time on underdeveloped high school kids. You now are going up against the portal, so you better believe strength and conditioning needs to be something that is in your life year round. The athletes you are about to watch in the World Series, right? We're about to watch the Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. They are still working out, lifting and sprinting, and collegiate athletes, just like baseball and softball players, have been in the weight room for months, already lifting 3 to 4 times every week on top of practice, skill lessons, and schoolwork. All the work that should be done during the off season is always going to dictate the in-season plan. You can go back to episode 4 of the Students of Strength podcast, and I touch on in-season and off-season training. I don't really need to talk about that anymore. If you're not doing it, you're wasting your time. If you have coaches that are telling you that you don't need to train when you are actively playing your sport, those are bad coaches. They're giving you terrible advice, and they have no business coaching the sport that they are doing. And if you don't like that opinion, again, I don't care. That's the beauty of this, guys. These are my opinions. This is coming from 20 plus years of experience. Now, I'm not going to tell you and lie to you. Yeah, I can teach your kid how to hit and throw. I know there's plenty of coaches that will do that and lie to your kid just to make money, because at the end of the day, you are just the dollar sign to most of these places. When you walk into the doors of my gym, you are a human being. That is what you are going to be treated like. Every single human that walks through the doors of this gym are going to get that treatment. It's high level. That's why we charge what we do, because we believe in what we do. If you want the cheap, discounted version of what most places are trying to call strength and conditioning, you can easily find those places, because they're going to be the ones offering you really cheap rates, discounts for bringing in their buddies and their teammates, because they need to jam pack as many of those people in as possible, just to maybe possibly create some sort of a profit. And it's never going to happen. You're going to need twice as many people, because at the end of the day, those people are going to cancel on you because they were only there because it's the cheapest thing available. Moving on to number 4. Speed can be trained, developed, and improved. That is a fact, okay? Anything that can be consistently trained and properly programmed, like speed, can always be improved. Now, some athletes might take longer than others. Some are more gifted. That's always gonna be, right? But even talent can run out, and the ones who continue to work and get better will eventually outwork the talented and get their number called, right? Because a lot of the times those super talented kids, that's what they're getting by on. Oh, I don't need to do my extra reps. I don't need to do my extra sprints. I don't need to do my work in the weight room. And eventually those high-level athletes are going to break down. They're going to experience probably little nagging injuries that don't go away, that they don't want to fix. And that's the problem, right? So those athletes that are taking time to work on things and see their trainers or massage therapists or get soft tissue work, they're the ones that are going to pass everybody that's not doing that work. Just getting by on talent alone, it's going to wear out, because you're going to eventually get outworked by the person who is just more consistent than you, who wants it more than you, right? Speed isn't just about going out and sprinting. You need to learn how to produce force. You need to learn how to absorb that force, getting better at moving better, and take advantage of accelerating. If you move like crap, you're probably going to play like crap. Mobility and flexibility are two different things. They need to be addressed. Yes, you need to stretch, but you also need to be mobile. The freedom to move is how athletes make their money. The best movers, right, are also probably the best at changing direction, cutting, breaking down, accelerating, right? This isn't about breaking down the mechanics of the 40-yard dash or, you know, treating you like a track athlete and training you for the 100, right? It's no, if football players are obsessed with the 40-yard dash, let's just break that down, right? And that's something that I've learned from just listening to guys like Matt Gates, who train some of the fastest athletes at the NFL Combine, and knowing that acceleration is the most important thing. Those first 10, 20 yards, those first initial steps, learning how to produce force, learning how to absorb that force. It's not about where are my hands, where are my feet, where are my mechanics. It's just consistency through repetition is where you are going to improve your speed. Also, knowing what type of speed training I need to do. There's going to be days where you need to do resisted type sprinting, whether it's pushing a sled, running with a sled, the parachute that people are obsessed with, some sort of resistance. It's get a heavy duty rubber band, have a partner be the anchor behind you, and learn how to do resisted drills. Or just pay attention during the off season when you're doing all those drills. And when you ask, hey, how do I get faster? You already have those tools in your toolbox. And that's where it comes down to programming, right? Sending your kid to work out somewhere else versus sending your kid to a place where they actually have a training program in their hand that's going to hit everything that they need to focus on. I think that's where I want to send my kid. I don't need to send my kid to the overcrowded boot camp being disguised as a sports performance class. You can fight me on that if you need to. You probably won't win. Everything money is in the first half anyways, where the true acceleration is happening. The real money in that is in the acceleration, right? Learn how to accelerate and we can guarantee you get faster in time and long term. We don't want speed to just disappear. That's why the kid who trains for 1, 2, maybe 3 months, but then disappears for 6+ months out of the year, I'm sorry, you're not getting stronger and faster just going to your private lessons or doing whatever sport specific mumbo jumbo you think is strength and conditioning. Moving on, we're halfway through these. I hope you're enjoying them. Girls will get too bulky if they lift weights. That is also a myth and also misleading and just stupid information. No one is getting too bulky. The only way you're getting too bulky is if you're eating in excess with calories. You're eating like a garbage truck. The lifting that you are doing is probably strongman, power lifter related. Nobody's getting bulky. Come on, we're still telling that to people, just like we think creatine is bad, right? We can't have them possibly exercise on days that they went to practice because we don't need them tired. You just don't know anything about strength and conditioning. Stop Googling things, stop chat GPTing things, and actually seek out a strength and conditioning coach that has trained males and females. And we will show you that no one's getting bulky, whatever that means. It's just like people that want to get tighter and tone, right? Or oh, lifting weights is gonna stunt my growth. It's stupid. Enough with the misleading information. We need girls in the gym. They need to be strong. They need to be healthy, just like the boys. So mom and dad, get your daughters in the gym. They're not gonna get too bulky, I promise. And if they're getting too bulky, it's probably because they're eating the wrong things. They're probably not sleeping right. Hormones play a big role in things. Stress plays a big role in things. Ask questions. Know what the program needs to be, and no one's going to get bulky. Your kids are not training for the Mrs. Olympia or Mr. Olympia, so they're not bodybuilders. They don't need to be training like that. Moving on. Number 6, this is one of my favorite ones. This is also one of the ones I hate to hear. We don't have time to work out because we're too busy. Man, is that a myth. This is just simply devaluing your time and your personal development. I think too many kids, especially high school levels, are still relying and allowing mom and dad to dictate everything in regards to their personal development. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I did not need my parents' permission to work out or go to the gym. I didn't need my mom and dad's approval to get faster and to get stronger. That was just a given. My parents were not lazy people themselves. They were always extremely active. My father loved bodybuilding. My mother was a fitness fanatic, right? When you grow up around that, it really sets a standard for you to live by. My grandfather was a Jack LaLanne nut and was always doing something fitness related. You do have time to work out. If we have time for skill work and private lessons throughout the week and everything else, then you have time to work out at least 1 to 2 times a week. Even if it's a 30-minute well thought out session, it matters. Because the older you get, collegiate athletes, professional athletes, you might be working out at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. You might be working out in the middle of the day. You might have to work out before practice. You might have to work out after practice. If you have a night game, you better believe you're going to be in the weight room with the strength staff sometime early in the morning. The high school football players I coach every single week, we're going to work out today. We're going to do something tomorrow, the day before we play on Friday. We even have a little mini team workout on the day we have our game. We do sprints and acceleration half hour, 45 minutes before the ball even gets kicked off, right? Those kids have been working out since February. Why would we take it away from them? Why would we say they're too busy to do it? The people that are telling you that you don't have time or they're too busy to do it, they don't value it themselves. That's somebody else's opinion, somebody else's life, because your schedules are crammed. That's your fault. Manage your time better. Stop complaining that you don't have time, because eventually you're going to run out of time and your kids aren't going to get that time back in the gym. If you have time to pay for a pitching coach, hitting coach, fielding coach, catching coach, even though your kid doesn't even catch, I think it's time to start looking into the world of strength and conditioning, because it's an investment that is going to pay off almost immediately. And I guarantee you the world of strength and conditioning, keeping your kids strong and healthy and fast, is going to outlast any sport you're trying to cram down their throat. Boom. Number 7, we only have a few left. Thank you guys for really joining in. This is a nice little fire round. So number 7 on fact or myth, episode 7. Teams need to be in the weight room together. That is a fact. And a massive hole in this community. We have so many high schools in this town. There's only one that I know of that's focusing on strength and conditioning. And it needs to be more than just your child's sport coach. So your child's baseball coach, track coach, basketball coach. They don't belong in the weight room. They are not strength and conditioning specialists. I don't care what you say about it. And if we have a problem with that, our schools are not doing enough for their student athletes. There are schools all over the country that have strength and conditioning coaches running the weight rooms that you have on campus. And there is a structure for student athletes and the general population. And it really does not take that much time. Kids need to be in the weight room for about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes tops. You could take every single kid that you have in an entire middle school and high school and get them into a weight room. I see it firsthand, schools that are investing the right kind of money into the right things for their children. Working out is a powerful tool. And when weight rooms can be utilized not just for one sport, one athlete, and they can be utilized for everybody, I guarantee you change that entire school. You have kids that will live better lives. They'll literally thrive for 4 years in that school when you have that type of structure. Strength coaches working together with PE teachers, working together with sport coaches to develop off-season and in-season plans. The fact that that's missing from our town just makes me have to just work even harder to get that message out there so every school in this town can have that. I don't know what we have to change, but it has to change. All schools have weight rooms. We need to create that structure so kids can utilize it. It's being done all over the country. It's just not being done here in this town, and that needs to change. That's why I have Altamont Performance Lab, so those kids, those student athletes, even the ones that don't play sports, can have a place to go to have that outlet. It's my outlet. It's always been my outlet. And I need to share that with the world, and we're going to do that. I'm not going anywhere. I can assure you on that. We have 3 left. Number 8. On fact or myth. Sleep is the best recovery tool. That is a fact. It's the best supplement. You don't need this, you don't need that. Most kids are just overstimulated on their cell phones. There are studies out there right now proving to you that your cell phone is literally cancer in your hand. It's destroying your mindset. Phones 45 minutes before an activity like football games. I've just recently read a study on it, what it does to the brain versus kids that put their phones away 45 minutes before activity like a football game, a baseball game, whatever, and just got into their zone, got into their routine. You shouldn't be surfing the web, putting up pictures, checking your Instagram before you play. Do you know what that does to your brain? Unplug. Put it away. You don't need to be up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning playing your terrible video games. I used to play video games, trust me, but I got bored of them. I didn't want to be sitting at home playing video games with my friends. I wanted to be out in the world. I got a job. I got a girlfriend. I wanted to create a career for myself. I would have chose working out over sitting on the couch being lazy 100 times out of 100. It would always be that choice. It would always be what I needed to do, what was best for me. Sleep is key. Sleep is king. I know what it does to athletes just by seeing them out on a field. I know when you haven't slept properly. It doesn't need to be 8 hours. It might be 6, it might be 7, right? It doesn't need to be 12. You don't need to sleep until 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You go to bed on time, you can wake up on time. If you're not sleeping properly, no pre-workout powder, no special pill that you get at the local supplement shop, no steroid, no PED. It's not gonna work if you don't choose to emphasize sleep and proper nutrition. You can't out-train shitty habits, and that is 100% the truth. So sleep is the best recovery tool, 100% a fact. Woo! Last two. Altamont Performance Lab is expensive. That is a fact, and here's why. Good strength training should cost a good amount of money. I don't think people realize what it takes to create a training program for somebody. The amount of time that we take working with every single individual. It doesn't take much effort to crowd 20 plus kids and teenagers into one spot and write a workout up on a whiteboard and force everybody to do the same thing. That takes absolutely no effort at all. It takes effort to sit down with every single individual, create a plan, go over their goals, assess their movement, assess speed, assess strength, evaluate those things, and then create a program. We create a program for every single child that walks through our door. Whether you're holding it on a clipboard or you get access to our coaching app through TrueCoach. And shout out to TrueCoach for being in our corner for more than 10 years. Good strength training should be expensive. Just like the baseball bats and softball bats that you spend $300-400 on, the cleats that you buy, the gear bags, the trips here, the trips there. It all comes down to what we value. And I think when it comes to things for our kids, we look at value as the lowest price possible, the place that offers the discounts that I'm looking for. And I have no problem telling people no. We don't do that. When I offer a discount, I'm taking value away from that kid and that kid and that child. Everybody pays the same price because everybody is getting the same value. And that's where a lot of places fail, because I don't need to sign up 50 new people right now. I might need just 3 to 5. I'm not afraid to raise our rates, right? I've learned those things from having a mentor, having a coach myself, learning that you can't be afraid to do these things or you go out of business. I'm not going to be able to create something for myself, right? I'm not here to make friends with everybody in town or train every single person's kid. I just want to train the kids who want to be here. I want the families who really truly see the value in this, that the long-term value is there for their kid. What I teach your children is going to stay with them beyond any sport, any private lesson that you ever pay for. And I'm always going to be there. Last one. Athletes don't need to lift weights because a coach told them practice, games, and lessons are more important, and lifting will only make you tired for those said things. Myth. And another problem that I see across youth sports and organizations. There's too many teams and organizations. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Majority of these teams and organizations, there's not one of you focusing on strength and conditioning, right? Your little yellow ladders that you pull out, the medicine balls that you buy, it's not strength and conditioning, right? The terrible push-ups that you make kids do, telling kids to do burpees and mountain climbers and just all this stupidity, right? Most organizations like to work it into their team rate, and you don't know the difference between great strength training and eyewash, right? We don't even have yellow ladders here. The only time you're ever gonna see a yellow ladder come out here at Altamont Performance Lab is when somebody's coming off of a knee surgery or a lower body surgery, and we need to learn how to skip and hop and do all of those things. Or they work great in like warm-up settings, but they're just a pain in the butt. I know how to warm up athletes. I don't need a yellow ladder. I don't need any colorful, flashy gimmicks that most parents think their kids need, right? Strength and conditioning is boring, right? really good strength training is boring. I am not here to entertain anybody. I'm not here to babysit. If that's what it comes down to, I have no problem ending a workout and having your kid go home and giving you your money back, because it takes away from the kids that want to be here, right? We're not a place where you can just dump your kid for 45 minutes to an hour. Kids here want to train. They want to get better. They want to chase scholarships. They want to get recruited. They want to get noticed. Or they just want a place where they know that they can fit in and they can make friends. They can have somebody to talk to. They have a place to do homework. They have a place to recover, watch shows on our big flat screen TV, sit in our recovery lounge, right? But for coaches to tell kids that they don't need to work out, they don't need to lift weights, that's usually coming from coaches that don't work out and lift weights or exercise themselves. Most coaches these days are coaching from a bucket or coaching from a seat. They've got a gut hanging far over their waist and they couldn't run 10 feet without a hamstring blowing. And we're trying to preach development and tell kids that they don't need to work out. No, everything that I expect an athlete to do, whether it's run, skip, hop, jump, sprint, do this, do that, you better believe I'm able to execute every single one of those things. I'm about to turn 40 years old, but when you're a strength and conditioning coach and you're preaching things to athletes, you better believe that you better be able to perform the things that you want of your athletes. Don't just be a coach who yells and barks from the sideline because you get winded when you start to take 2 steps. That's the sad state of where we are with youth sports. You don't have to be a lazy slob. You can be active, you can lead by example, and you don't have to lie to children and parents just to make money. There's a lot of snakes in the strength and conditioning world. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of myths still to this day. I've been coaching for 20 years. I've been working out since I was 5 years old. Literally, I've been around exercise for 30 plus years. Creatine is great. Working out is great. It doesn't make you bulky. It makes you nice and strong, right? I'm 5'6", but I'm 185 pounds. I'm 17% body fat, right? Maybe 18. I can still sprint. Can still jump. I have a vertical. I can broad jump. I can do all of these things, right? That I expect all the athletes that I coach to do. And that just should reassure parents that there is a coach out there who lives, breathes, and will die by all of these things, right? It's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. And I'm glad that I can come on here and debunk all of these things that people have issues with. You know, if you'd love to have conversation about some of these things, I'd love to talk. You know, that's why our assessments here are complimentary, so we can sit down with you, develop a plan. Even if you don't buy a membership and sign up, you're still gonna leave here with something in your hand that's going to help guide you to where you need to be. And even those people that don't sign up, they usually always come back. Sometimes it's just the fear of jumping ship, or I train somewhere else, or my kid goes here. Who cares? For me personally, I don't care where your kids work out, who they've been coached by, where they currently go. None of it matters to me. I am in competition with no one. I don't care about any other place here in town, surrounding states, right? I've built an amazing career for myself. I'm going to leave a legacy behind. I'm able to provide for my family and give a life to my wife that she's always deserved by the things I want. I live in a town where I want to live, not just where I had to settle, right? That's my decision. Most people would look at it, man, you live in Pleasanton, California. That's one of the most expensive towns in the country. It's one of the nicest towns in the country. It has the best education. It's an amazing place, and that's where I want to live. And that's where I choose to live, because I choose to live the life I do, because I don't buy into all this crap, fact, myth, this, that. You need to do it this way. I do it my own way, and I always have, and I always will. And those people that are in my corner that have continued to support me, including my amazing, loving wife, Trista, you guys are why I do this. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm about to turn 40. You're stuck with me for at least another 40 or 50 years. So keep chiming in, keep listening. Again, I am Coach Vinny Polillo. I'm the host of the Students of Strength podcast. Thank you for tuning in to episode 7. Hopefully you take something from this. Please share these episodes. We're all over YouTube. We're all over Spotify. You can find us wherever you listen or watch your podcasts. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Keep being amazing. And hey, if you get a chance over the next month, make sure you buy one of our t-shirts here from Altamont Performance Lab, celebrating 7 years of being in business. When you shop small, you are supporting the families that run and operate small businesses like my own. And I just can't thank you guys enough from the bottom of my heart. I love each and every one of you. And this is Coach Vinny signing off.